But
if I tried doing this rule 27.1, basically, and having it, basically because I wasn't allowed proper due process.
Yeah.
I wasn't given like the means and everything like that.
yeah.
Now, will that apply? Will they just kick it out then? Because
No, it's not about they, it's about what you're doing.
Yeah, well, we put 6 points on my licence and put a fine on me, and now they've sent me in court team management after me.
Right. The point is this, okay, we won't get too much into that. To do with traffic, if it's to do with traffic, they're going to deal with you the way they're dealing with you because there's a presumption of agency. You see, because you hold a driver's license. You see, a driver's license is used for commerce. As long as you're doing commerce, you have to pay the people who allow you to do commerce. Because you're trafficking, you see. As long as you're trafficking, you have to pay them some money. So if you violate the rules that you... Remember, a driver's license is a unilateral contract. It's only your signature on it. There's nobody else's signature. It's just you. So if you sign a document and say you agree to abide by these rules and then you go and break them, then obviously they're going to fine you. That's the thing about trafficking.
Just my argument was basically I have the right to basically not self-incriminate. You know, just wouldn't focus on, wouldn't basically just sending the rules back.
Yeah, self-incrimination would be under common law.
I'll try this anyway, I'll try it.
Yeah, but I'd recommend do the commercial one. The commercial one works with traffic. It's like, it's traffic, we don't even do traffic anymore. It's become so easy. It's one letter nowadays we use for traffic. 3 questions, you see. Especially the proper ones, you see. Because there's one time, years ago, when I first started doing traffic, police sent a friend of mine, they wanted 30 pounds or something, because he was speeding. They had a picture of his car at the traffic lights, and in the paperwork we looked at it, and he said he was traveling at 0 miles an hour on their own paperwork. So that's why we started, hang on a second, so everything they send to you, you need to look at the paperwork. It's always there. How to deal with the case is always there. You're going to find all the errors, you're going to find all the lies, the unsigned documents. What it is this, they're sending you an invalid document, and they want you to assume that it's got some official capacity, and you're doing it. And then you carry on, and then you create a joinder. Kill it on the letter. So as soon as you see that document, say, no, I cannot deal with this because it's got so many errors. You see, how can 0 miles an hour be speeding to start with? You see, that's number one. And kill it that way. Yeah, but traffic is got its own implications. Okay?
Does he have to give up his driving license then?
No. You just need to know how to use it. You need to know when you're driving, you're doing business. As long as you're doing business, the people allowing you to do business need a small cut. Because they build the roads for you, they put the lights for you, and they allow you to traffic your, whatever you're trafficking. Yeah. So you need to understand that, okay, fine, if it's an enormous amount, thousands of pounds, don't pay them. It's like 30 pounds or something, pay them, and go and learn about how to deal with traffic. But traffic is very easy. If you let them know your status, you see. Yeah. Because you can travel at speed and not be fined. But you cannot drive at speed, you will be fined. Because when you're conducting business, you have to look at it this way. If you guys are in a bus and I'm the driver, I am required, because I'm holding your lives in my hand, to have a license and insurance. That's it. Because I am in charge of you now. If I overturn the bus, then it's my responsibility. That's why I need insurance when I'm doing business. When you're driving, you're doing business. So you need insurance, and you need to obey certain rules. That's it with traffic. Yeah. The presumption of agency. You're an agent of the corporation. How do they know that? Because when they stopped you, they asked you, are you the driver of the car? And you said yes. And they asked you, can we see your driver's license? And you produced it. And they looked at it, and it was you. And it said Crown Corporation, or whatever else it says, and you accepted that you're an agent, because you have an agent card. And not because you're an agent of the corporation rules apply on you. They can take 20 points, 6 points, 1 point, whatever they decide.
So you gave them the evidence against you?
Yeah. You gave them the evidence that you're a member of a corporation. You see, you accepted your trafficking. So it's the initial contact that's very critical, the initial contact. If you mess around there and you start talking your own things, you're going to create joinder, and that carries on. And in their world of presumptions, remember they operate under something called presumption of law and color of law. It's not law, okay? That's it, it's presumptions. And in their world, they're allowed to graft, that's the wording, they're allowed to graft one presumption on top of another presumption. Okay? So once they achieve the first one, that you accepted you're a driver, now they can graft a whole bunch of presumption on top of this one. This is grounded now. You're a driver, you're not going to go back, and they're going to carry on to the court with you as a driver. So you need to know who you are at the beginning when they stop you. Am I going to be a driver today, or am I not going to be a driver right now? Am I conducting business right now or not? That's the question. Yeah. Okay, charges, 3 elements, we did crime as well. Okay, my things are this. What I've realized kills all the court cases, three very simple things. Valid cause, which we talked about earlier. Valid cause, number 1. If the claimant has not filed valid cause, the claim is invalid. So that kills it. Number 2 is crime. Okay? They're trying civil matters by using criminal procedures, which is against the rules anyway. So we need to know what a crime is. When somebody says you're a criminal, you've committed a crime. For any act to be defined as a crime, that requires 3 elements. Okay? What are the 3 elements? Number 1 is mens rea, which is the thinking of it. So you have to think of a crime. For instance, if I am walking down the street and I step on someone's foot and break it, I didn't think of it, it's not a crime, you see. But if I thought about it, I thought, let me go and step on this guy, and then do that, that is a crime, that's the difference. So it has to be the mens rea part of it, you have to think of it. And then number 2 is actus reus, which means you have to act on your thoughts. And number 3, the more important one, is corpus delicti, which is the injured party. So if any one of those 3 elements is missing, it's not a crime. That is why parking on double yellow line is not a crime. It's yeah, exactly. They're not going to call it anything else. But a crime requires those 3 elements. So number 1, mens rea, thinking it, so planning it. Number 2, acting on your thoughts. You see, they cannot. You see, it's like I saw a film a while back. I think it's Tom Cruise, where they used to predict who's going to commit a crime and arrest him before they do it.
Minority Report.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. It's like that right now. You see, because the point is this. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's nonsense. Exactly. I can just presume that I think he looks like a criminal. I think he might be planning to commit a crime next week, so you come with me, I'm going to lock you up, just to keep the public safe. That's the illusion that there is. But the point is this. I could be thinking, oh, my neighbor's pissed me off. He's playing his music late at night. I want to sleep, and I can do that. And I can be real pissed off. I'm going to stab his ass today. Let me take a knife. I'm going to stab him a few times. Take the knife, go to the door, and at the door, oh my God, I think I'm being stupid. Go back, and it's ridiculous. And then change your mind and go back. You have not committed a crime. You may have thought about it, but you never acted on it. So we think a lot of crazy things, but we cannot be arrested for what we think. Because, I mean, I'm sure people think all kinds of crazy stuff. So crime, 3 elements. Mens rea, actus rea, corpus delicti. So if I haven't thought about it, I haven't acted on my thoughts, I haven't injured anyone, it's not a crime. Even if there's a corpus delicti, they have to demonstrate the nature of their injury in court for there to be an injured party. So they can't just say, I'm the injured party. I have to demonstrate, how was I injured? Was it a physical injury? Did I incur loss? Did I lose money? Did I lose a job or something? So that's the whole point. So without those 3 elements, it's not a crime. Okay? So that's it. And then number 4, so number 1, valid cause, use that all the time, it's going to help you. Crime, use that as well. And the more important one is the charge. So I'm going to deal with the charge. Charge has got 4 elements. True charge. If one of the elements is missing, it's a false charge. Okay? So when you see a document saying charges with charge, you're looking for 4 elements. Number 1 is called pre-existing account. So they have to be a pre-existing account. So with them, because they act under presumption of law, they presume that the account is pre-existing. But for those people who have socialist numbers, if you have a birth certificate, that's the account. That's one account. So that's a pre-existing account. If you have a driver's license, that's a pre-existing account. If you have a mortgage, all this stuff, those are accounts. So that's where it comes from. And they can charge your corporation, because element number 1 is there, the presumption of a pre-existing account. The way we explain to people is the restaurant analogy. If I go into a restaurant and I sit down, and then the waitress comes over, and then she's got a piece of paper, and then I place an order. That's the account. So they're going to put down, you have 2 drinks, 2 meals, and that's how you create an account. Okay, so you have an account now. Element number 2 is obligation, right? So you're obligated to the restaurateur because you went to the restaurant, you sat down, they give you lights, They cook for you, they bought the food using their own money, and they cook for you. Okay, so you have an obligation to pay them. And number 3, right of claim. So whoever cooked for you and created the environment for you to eat in, they are the ones who have a right to claim money off you. You see, nobody else can do that. Somebody can walk off the street and come and claim. They have no right of claim. So whoever did the job has the right of claim. And the 4th one is that it has to be in the right jurisdiction. So if I eat in a restaurant today and I didn't pay, and at midnight I hear at the door and I go down and say, it's you asking me, could you pay me that money that you ate in my restaurant today? I'm going to tell you to piss off. I'll come and see you tomorrow, but don't come to my house in the middle of the night asking me this bullshit. Go away. That's how I'm going to deal with it. I'll come and see you tomorrow. So it's a wrong jurisdiction. So charge has to have 4 elements. So pre-existing account, number 1. Number 2 is an obligation. Number 3 is right of claim. Number 4 is the right jurisdiction. Okay? So the false charges are always in the wrong jurisdiction. When they charge in a magician's court is got a jurisdiction that's limited to adjudicating over matters concerning legal fictions. You see, it's a wrong venue. They can take it to the real court, which is the king's or queen's court. They deal with real people, or flesh and blood people. They're fine, they can take it there, and you can deal with it. So you can,
Queen's Bench?
oh, King's Bench.
Yeah, Queen's Bench.
Yeah, so you can deal with that. Because it's a dichotomy as well. Because everything they have in the Queen's Bench, they have in the magicians and the county. So why do they choose to take it down there? They have a family court in Queen's Bench as well, and they have one in the magician's court, you see. But it's dichotomy. So you need to know where to take your claim. So the 4 elements for a true charge are those. Pre-existing account is important. Your account is your birth certificate. That's where they're tapping. Because what they do is they create bonds out of your birth certificate. And then all crimes have been commercialized. So everything has a fee. So if I had money, I can kill somebody and I won't spend a night in jail because I have money. I can pay. You see? I can kill somebody and say, I want a bail or 2 million, and then I have 20 million. You can take your 2 million and I'll be on the street the next day. If you're poor, you'll be in jail. Everything is commerce. Okay? That's why it's charges. Okay? In reality, you should be indicted, not charged. Right? So you can indict me on 1 count of murder, I can hear it. But if you want to charge me, I'm sorry, I don't have enough money to pay you. How much do you want me to pay you for killing someone or raping someone? How much do you want? So that's what it is. Okay? Indict me is fine. I'll accept an indictment, I don't accept any charges, because charges is commercial. If you're doing commerce, let me know. So that's what you're looking for. I'm sorry?
You pay with a promissory note.
Yeah, you can pay with a promissory note, but that's commerce. So I'm saying everything is commerce. So when they charge you, you can discharge it with a promissory note. Yeah? And that's all allowed under the statutory stuff anyway. If you're doing it that way, you can discharge it, promissory note, pay it off. You can pay your mortgage using a promissory note. You can create one, but you need to use your social list, your birth certificate numbers for your mortgage. But there's a process of doing that. Okay? So in conclusion, I'm going to say orders. So we've done valid cause. Remember that. Valid cause 4 elements. If they haven't filed valid cause, they can proceed. Number 2 is the crime. What is a crime? 3 elements as well. And finally, the charge. When somebody brings you a charge against you, a true charge is 4 elements. If one is missing, it's a false charge. You don't pay it, you don't honor it, out. Finally, I want to talk about orders. You have to understand what an order is. Okay? When you go to Amazon or whatever online and you place an order, right? Or you go to a restaurant, the counter, you're going to take away, you place an order. What do you do after you place the order? You pay for it, thank you. So when somebody places an order with you, what are you going to do next time? Charge them. Okay?
Give them a bill.
Thank you. That's how you do commerce. So I have to understand. Somebody places an order for your services, you send them a bill, an invoice. All right? So next time you receive an order from these de facto courts, make sure you send them an invoice for it, for the services they want you to render to them. All right?
I actually did that.
Did you? Did they pay you?
Ordered by the court to pay whatever, and I sent in basically saying, well, you've ordered me to pay that, I don't accept your order, pay that, but I didn't send an invoice in.
Yeah, accept the order.
She rang me up.
Say, thank you very much, I accept your order for my services. By the way,
She rang me up and said, what are you on about? Ordering me about, that's my charge.
yeah, exactly.
She said, I will like that. I said, well, don't it? Give me an order, this is my charge.
Well, that's the point. The point is this. No, the people who you assume,
I didn't put an invoice in.
yeah, the people you assume know what they're doing in their building, they have no idea what they're doing.
True.
Yeah.
Amen.
You speak to the police on the street, go and ask them, do you know anything about the common law? They have no idea. So how can they be enforcing the common law if they don't know that this England is common law land?
Because their office is on a ship.
Exactly. Okay? These are officers as well, they're not constables. You have to understand definitions. Everything is definitions. What's an officer? Is an ecclesiastical space, as opposed to a constable. Are you dealing with a constable? Are you dealing with an officer? A constable works for the Queen. Supposedly, an officer works for the Crown Corporation. You see, the officer is the one who wants your consent. The constable is the one who's waiting for you to breach the peace. So that's the difference. You see, an officer does not wait for you to breach the peace. He's going to jump out of the bushes and say, hang on a second, you've been driving for 70 miles an hour, give me some money. That's it. You see, yeah, that's what it is. So you don't get tricked by these people. It's called legalese. It's called legalese. It's called babble. Okay? It's silly legalese language. Doesn't mean anything. Don't assume that people are smarter than you are. You know everything. We all know everything. It's whether we choose to live that life of being lawful. Some of us do it at our own risk. But I've seen the other side. They're full of nonsense. I can promise you that. I've dealt with circuit judge, as far as I've dealt with magicians, they're rubbish, they're useless children. District judges in the county court and the magicians court, they're children. Okay, I've dealt with one circuit judge, I haven't dealt with the high court judge yet, but all of them are rubbish. Do not believe they're smarter than you, they know more than you do. They don't. We've been to their court asking them simple questions and they're jumping around. These are old men jumping around like children. So that's the point. They're lying to you, they're deceiving you. The reason this thing is carrying on is because there are men and women in these positions. They have a job, and they have houses and children and whatever else they do, and they have to maintain. You see, that's the only reason. But they have no authority at all to do what they're doing. What they've created is something called a de facto system, as opposed to de jure. De facto simply means it's there by fact. De jure means it's there by right. Okay, so you're here by right, they're here by fact. It's like having a rat in a house. It's there because it's there, you know it's there. You have to deal with it at some point, but it's not there by right. Okay, so we deal with the rat once in a while, but at our terms. We give them our terms and conditions and explain to them, listen, I'm a living man, I'm creating the image of God, these are my conditions. If you want to do business with me, these are my charges, these are my conditions, this is it. So once they choose to do that, then you can charge them, but you need to put that before. So like I said, in conclusion, just people, it's men and women who have, let's say, character flaws, including an ego, and to believe that their job is more important than people. That's what the problem is, that they've forgotten they're dealing actually with people, and they think people are numbers. So as long as you're a number, if we call them automatons. Automatons, because they have no soul, they're machines, they only take orders and commands. If you try to speak to him as a human being, he's going to listen to you. They operate under orders and commands, and they work for what's called these alphabet companies. We call them alphabet people, because they're going to come to say, I am from ABC, or BBC, or CCC, DWP, CID, FBI, the alphabet people. They're always alphabet people. You see, they're automatons. So when you deal with an automaton, you have to give them orders and commands. They don't speak language as we're speaking. So it's a different world. You see, so it's orders and commands, okay? But ultimately, you're dealing with a man or a woman who's got a flaw and believes that they have authority over another man or a woman. And that's what the problem is, okay? We're all created equal. The power is in the people. It's not in a fictitious corporation. You see, corporation is just a cover. It's a man behind the corporation who's responsible for all this nonsense. But you never find out who they are. Ask them who their names are, you see. Okay, so I'm going to take some questions if you have any. I won't go through this whole thing, others will be here all day. There's enough information, so yeah, go on.
Can you get this information online?
Online? Do you mean a website?
Yeah.
I don't have anything online. Yeah, I tend to do, what we do is, okay, put it like this. I've been doing this for a while, and I used to do a lot of talks years ago, and it's caused me a lot of trouble, because they tend to target you. If you give information, they kind of just make your life hard. So what you tend to do is private. So you don't just publish it, because, okay, this information is powerful, but I always accept that there's thieves and criminals out there, and they can use the same information to defend these things. So we try to be responsible with the information we give out. So we tend to deal with people privately or individually. If you have something specific, we can deal with you, but we don't publish this information online, because it's online anyway. You see, I didn't make this up. I got it online and through reading books, except that I've done it for a while now, and I've accumulated a whole bunch of information, and now I can move around easier. Okay. But yeah, we can always get in touch. We have phone numbers, and we can get the information anywhere you are. Yeah.
The word charge, what they're actually doing is charging the CAPT trust.
Yeah.
And the main
Yeah.
way the beneficiary of that trust.
Yeah.
They're switching it round.
Yeah. So, yes, the charge is on your Citus account. So, for a birth certificate, as soon as you're incorporated, or when you're born, right? When you're born, your mother informs on you to the register that a new ship or a ship has brought some goods onto the dock. Okay? And then you're manifest, and then you're incorporated, and that's the corporation there. And now they're going to create their fake charges, the commercial charges, and every time you do something, they're going to charge the corporation, but they want you to stand as surety for that name.
Yeah, but we are the beneficiaries going back to the 1931 bank.
You all know that, mate. You go through this every time.
You're the beneficiary of your name. Yeah. Except you don't claim it. The way you claim your name is copyrighted, trademark it. Because Johnson & Johnson, right? Your name, what is it? Your name is your reputation, your word is your bond. If somebody says John is a thief, then they've ruined you cannot do business. So your name is your reputation. So copyright and trademark it, you see. Yeah, go ahead.
Are we all born with the same value? Or minority?
Value. Value. I don't know. Corporate value, you mean? Do you mean natural corporate value?
Are we all born with the same corporate value?
Yeah, because corporate value is the same. Because what they do is this. Do you know how, but you exempt it as well. Do you know about the exemption?
No.
Right. Now, the exemption, the way it works is this. The people used to own all the natural resources, okay? And then the people got together and say, let's create a government so that it can manage our natural resources, you see? So everything is free to start with, okay? So what the government did was to sell these natural resources to private companies. But then when they did that, they gave you an exemption as a man or woman, because the natural resources belong to you. So they give you an exemption, a national insurance number, so that when you get a bill, okay, you discharge it using a national insurance number. That's why we do accept it for value all the time. That's why in commerce you have to accept these things. That's why we accept. Yeah, so you accept for value the bill or the gyro. There's some wording that goes on it, and there's a letter of authority that you give to them. You give one to Treasury and one to whoever's claiming that you owe them money, and you give them the national insurance number and tell them that's my exemption. Please charge it this way. It's called acceptance for value. We've done this for years now. So that's how you do your public liabilities. So that your public liabilities you settle by accepting them for value and use your national insurance number as your exemption to discharge it. Okay? But you don't pay money. Why? Because the country is bankrupt. You understand? The reason there is no money is because the country is bankrupt, right? The country went bankrupt, I think, the Bankruptcy Act of 18, whatever it was, but the Gold Standards Act of 25, that's the important one. Because before that, they used to have notes which had value of gold and silver, because only gold and silver is money, right? After the wars, the country didn't have any money. And the people who financed the war said to the government, look, you need some money to develop your country, your infrastructure is destroyed and all this, and the banks gave the governments money to develop their infrastructure. Now they want their money back. The government didn't have any money. They're giving out all their gold. So what is being pledged is your labor. So that's what is on the promissory notes, is that you're going to work until you're 65 and you're going to pay off the bankers. You see, but as long as you're doing that, you're not going to pay any bills. You see, because there is no money. You understand?
I understand there's no money, but I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. So, obviously, when we're born, we've got this money. But are you saying, does everyone say, like, I don't know, say it's 10 grand? Are we all the same? Is that what yours trying to say? Are we all
All
the same?
10 grand.
Yeah, so say that's like what we're all definitely working
I don't know.
Is that what you're asking?
I've heard that if you got
All 10 grand.
If you're on the business X.
Yeah, I'm saying-
Look, talent, there's something called talent. Talent is the Roman equivalent of shillings or pounds. So as long as you have talent, you're going to be worth more than anyone else.
I wonder why this is why they're still doing all those talent shows.
Talent, that's what it is, talent, yeah. So anyone with talent,
It's about talent.
someone who's got talent, okay, is going to be worth more than someone who doesn't have talent.
Talent is,
So you have to understand the slavery carries on today, but now it's being done so openly that because it's being done openly, you accept it, and you can see this very clearly in the guys who kick the balls and they get a lot of money.
Yes.
The footballers, yeah, those guys.
Celebrities, and it's,
Celebrities. Those characters.
The other guy talks, and he said we're looking at the wrong stars, which is to do with talent.
It's talent.
And, you know, we are looking at the wrong stars. Celebrities' talent, but we've been focused on the different stars.
Yeah, celebrities don't have talent,
Yeah, they don't have talent.
so you need to look at stars.
You know, fake to believe that that's talent. It's not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah,
Argument.
go on.
So, I'm a talented person, I give birth. Does that have more commodity to somebody who's less talented?
Yeah, it's a news.
The mother delivers the product, yeah.
Is that in the real world? Okay. Can I just say, is it in the real world or the legal fiction world? Because there's two.
We're talking about the legal fiction world.
Oh.
Because just not from what this man was saying about whatever he was saying, it just triggered my head into.
In the legal fiction world, if you're a woman and if you can produce 10 babies in 1 year, they love you. They love you. Because there's more corporations, right? More bonds and create comics.
In outside, there's also the pressure of you should only have 2 children. Thereafter, you're irresponsible, allegedly.
Well, yeah, but in the legal fiction world, they like you to have more children. As long as you register those children,
Yeah.
When you have the children.
you see? Yeah.
Yeah, then, you said these property notes and discharge of debts, you said up to you're 65 years old. If you're over 65, you still qualify to give those discharge of debts.
No. What I meant by 65 was that, was that the age of retirement. I think they must be 70, but that's what they give to the bankers and say you are going to work until you're 65. You see, and they're going to pledge your labor to the bankers. So it doesn't matter 65 or 70, but you're going to be around for a while.
So, does it go is it when I die,
Yes.
I can go, if I will live to like say 100, can I still do these discharge of debts?
Yeah.
Okay.
This type of debt you're going to do as long as the country is in bankruptcy. You can discharge the debts.
Yes, okay.
Because you cannot discharge the debt by another debt.
Yes.
You see? But that's what we've been doing. We've been promising to pay a promise to pay. Because the promise to pay initially, the promise to pay was a promise to pay the bearer £1 of silver or gold before the Gold Standards Act. And then at the Gold Standards Act, they removed the gold from the money. So now it doesn't have any value. Before it did have value, so you could redeem the promissory note for gold or silver. So once they remove the gold from it and the silver from it, the piece of paper doesn't have any backing, doesn't have any value. It's a promise to pay. So it's a debt instrument. That is why you cannot pay a debt by a debt. You need to discharge it. So when they send you the bills, you need to discharge it properly, and then you're in honor. But you discharge it using an exemption, which is your national insurance number. So you have to be properly given authority. So you tell them, listen, this is public liability. Please go and collect the money from Treasury using this national insurance number. And that's how you do it. It's called acceptable value.
So your national insurance number, that's your access to your bond?
That's the exemption. That's the exemption.
Exemption.
Yeah. It's called an exemption to do with public utilities. So your water is paid for. Your electricity is paid for, your gas is paid for.
Yeah, so that's, so if you put your, say, your NI number on a gas bill or whatever and send it back, is that?
There's a process to it. It's not just a matter of writing your NI. Yeah. So if you do it that way, it's going to be accepted.
Right.
So it's called
that though, you can do that on anything, like those.
Public liabilities, not everything. So you can't go shopping for clothes and I don't know. It's public liabilities. Yeah, gas, water, electricity. Yeah. Gas, water, electricity. Bank is not public. Banks are private. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm something you said earlier about them gaining jurisdiction. I was invested a few years ago, and police didn't have any ID, so they didn't know
who you are.
who I was. As I say, and then they decided to take me into court. And the judge was asking me to give my name to the court.
Yep.
And I just said, oh, you can call me Remy.
Yep.
Obviously, he wanted my birth certificate name.
Yep.
So I said to him, well, my name is Remy, you can call me Remy. But I need to ask him questions. And I basically asked the judge who he was, and he said he's Judge so-and-so. And then I went into, well, that's a legal fiction, and I'm here as the man, and thank you for your offers, but I don't want to do business with you. So then he ordered me to go into the dock, and I said, that's the ships and vessels, I'm here as the man, I can't possibly go into the dock.
Yeah.
Then he ordered the police to arrest me in court.
For what?
He didn't say why, he just said, he just said arrest me.
For what?
They arrested me, took me downstairs into Bridewell, tried to get my name again, they couldn't get it, so 5 minutes later they let me out the back door.
That's where it is. That's the whole point. If you stand your ground and you know what you're doing, they can't move. What they're looking for is the consent, the agreement.
And fear.
You see,
Yeah.
and fear as well,
Yeah, yeah.
because human emotion, humans have two emotions, that's it. You have love and fear, you see. If you're living in fear, it's, oh my God, something's going to go wrong, and there's not enough food, you have to fear everyone, and everything's bad. Or you can live in unconditional love, you can choose which one. But fear is what they get on you. If you're operating from fear, you're not going to be real. You can't jump as high as you want to, you can't say the things you want to. But that's the trick. The building is designed to be fearful, and the environment is supposed to intimidate you. So you can't speak. It's a psychological operation thing. But you need to psych yourself and know what you're going to say. Like you stand your ground, they have to let you go. Because you haven't created the pretensive joinder. There's no joinder. What's your name? I don't have to tell you my name. Because case law, we have case law, which says you have an obligation to tell a policeman your name.
But it's all about, it is a fear thing, and if you know yourself, and you know you don't accept anybody as your master.
Yeah, that's it. This is what you're talking about. Who are you?
Feeling, it's just inside yourself.
Yeah. If you know who you are, and I'm going to shake you. You can say whatever you want to say. I don't care. You can beat me up. I don't care. I know who I am. You can lock me downstairs. If you're still going to arrest me, police, what are you arresting me for?
Yeah, well, I've been arrested in the past and they've got my fingerprints and DNA, right? And I know for a fact that they've actually grabbed people and put the fingerprints on the machine and taken the DNA.
Yeah, of course, because the DNA is to do with is commerce as well. What they're doing is collecting DNA of people, and they're experimenting on the DNA and producing these products that they patent, you see, and then sell. But you don't get a profit from it. But it's your DNA that they use to create their synthetic.
Are they allowed to use the fingerprints and the DNA to identify you as a legal fiction?
It is. Okay, everything is presumption with these guys. Everything, there's nothing they do that is real. It's a legal fiction world. Everything is fiction. Once you know it's fiction, then you deal with it differently.
If they take your fingerprint and your DNA, they have to certify it, and it is actually taken from you, and that means putting their name on the document. It's still hearsay.
Of course. And then you have to consent to it. I mean, last time they arrested me, they tried that crap with me. You see, they put me in a cell for a few hours, and they sent this woman down and said, yeah, we're going to take your fingerprints and your picture. And for me, I mean, years ago I used to argue with them and we used to talk this stuff about, hey, this is your oath and this is your job and whatever else. Nowadays I don't bother. So I just say to her, listen, I'm going to exercise my presumption to the right to innocence. Because I haven't tried to do anything. You just arrest you and they take your fingerprint before you. They do everything reverse. You're supposed to be found guilty of a crime before they take your picture and fingerprints. Then they can do that way. They do everything reverse. So you have to exercise your right to presumption of innocence. That's the wording. I'm going to exercise my right to presumption of innocence, and I'm not going to give you my DNA or my fingerprints. And if you touch me, that's common assault and battery, because they derive their authority from the common law of the land. So it's common assault and battery if you touch me before I commit a crime. And we know what a crime is now, you see.
The other thing is, right, I mean, probably a lot of people in here have had like altercations with them like that. And the one thing that we don't do, which I think we should do, is put a complaint in to the police force. But when we put a complaint in, can we put a complaint in as a man, or do we have to go as legal fiction?
Right. This is, yeah, I had that here. I just didn't get to. Right. The reason you're losing your case is this. Where is it? It's here anyway. I know what I'm talking about. The point is this: when you try to sue, because I try to sue police, right? When you try to sue the police as a man, and you see the office, that's the trouble. Because the office of the chief con man, that's an office. You see, it's not a real man. But in the paperwork, you're not going to see the name, they'll put the names, it's going to be your name versus the chief con man of whichever area you're living in. You see? Exactly. Now, the chief con man, it's not a man or a woman, it's an office. So you're trying to sue an office. You as a living man are suing an office. You're going to lose your case. Always.
So what do we sue us then?
So you have to sue the living man or woman. You have to find out the name. It says you, John Smith, versus John Doe. You see? Not John Smith versus chief conman of whichever area, because the chief conman is an office. Or you can create a trust in your name, or whichever name, and then the trust can sue the office, because that's a corporation as well. So remember status in law? Man is there, corporation is there, exactly. So you are trying to sue a corporation. You cannot mix, you can never mix. Exactly. So you need to find out who is the chief conman, what's their name. So their name, because they're responsible for their agents, you see. But even better, find out which agent is messing with you, because remember, the police are not employees of anyone, okay? The police is not an agent, they're self-employed people. They don't work for anyone. They cannot be ordered to arrest anyone. They have to use their own discretion.
They're all corporation souls.
Okay? Yeah.
When you say you sue the actual, that you find the name, do you mean the officer's name or his senior?
The officer's name. Yeah, exactly. The individual who interfered with your rights, him directly, you see.
Every man is responsible for his own action.
Exactly. So whether you're acting, a man is acting as a police officer, but he's still responsible for his actions. He can act as whatever he wants, same as a judge, act as a man, acting as a judge. You see, he's still responsible. You have to abide by the law as a man, you see. But what they do is they hide behind the corporation. So when you try to sue them, you never find out where to serve them documents. If you write to the chief conman, he never responds to you, and they're always hiding. But right now we're finding out where some of them live, because we need to serve them in their private location, at their homes, this paperwork. You see, you need to find out where these police people or fake judges live, and we need to write claims and go to his house and knock on the door and say, listen, Mr. Man, there you go, you've been served. You're a judge, right? You've been served. We'll see you in court.
I have worked with police officers that say, don't tell anyone around here.
Yeah, exactly, why?
If you don't know where the list, can you actually serve on this notice?
That's why we do, I mean, the people, because the people who actually, right now, who do that. That's the entire research, is to find out where these public service live so we can serve them documents at home.
Somebody did that and they arrested them for harassment.
Sorry?
Somebody did that, didn't they? And actually served a judge at his house.
Of course you can do that.
Police caught and arrested him for stalking about.
Yeah, if you do it properly, of course they have to arrest them, you see. But the thing is, the process, if you're trying to serve them through the chief conman, it's not going to get there. But if you find out where he lives, and you do the process properly, he cannot escape. Where he's going to go?
Yeah, but he's talking about the person who did the serving,
The judge got the police to arrest them for
Harassment's got to be cross conduct.
Right, harassment is going to be under what? Protection from Harassment Act, right?
It's two cost of conduct, otherwise it's not cost of conduct, it's just one instance.
Look, two things, right? Two things.
Or legislation.
Two things with harassment. First of all, it's going to be under the Protection from Harassment Act. I think it's 1979, probably Section 2. That's what they use all the time. You see, there's two things they use: traffic and harassment. Harassment is standard. Everyone gets the harassment is the usual one. You see, but in any case, they can say harassment or whatever. But what is it? It's an act which requires your consent. So you're going to say, listen, I don't consent for you to bring this claim under this act, because I'm not acting, I'm being real, I'm a real man. I'm not acting, you can act as much as you want. I'm not acting, so you can keep your act, wait for me to breach the law, which is cause injury or harm to someone, and then come and talk to me about it.
State of mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, recently I've heard that they're going to try to make it a criminal offence to distribute the likes of police constable's address to anybody else that you know.
How is it criminal offence? We just talk about,
All I'm saying is what they're trying to do.
Okay, I know that stuff, but we need to stay real. We just talk about what crime is. Crime involves men's real, actors real, and injured party.
But they're just trying to convince people who are a little bit more frightened.
That's the whole point.
They're sitting on the fence between.
Look, as far as statutes are concerned, let me put it clearly. A statute is this. They can make a statute about anything. They can decide tomorrow that bananas are dangerous to the public. They're going to ban bananas. Are you going to stop eating bananas because the government says look, they can decide tomorrow to say, okay, fine. The black people in the bus have to sit downstairs, the white people on top. And that's the law. Are you going to follow it?
No.
Because it's nonsense. They've done that. They can say,
Most people are scared.
we don't care about most people. You need to know who you are. You are. You're doing it yourself. I don't care what anybody else does. I'm going to do my stuff anyway. I know who I am. So when they bring that shit to me, I'm going to say this stuff to them. And somebody who doesn't know that stuff is going to believe that they can create an act that's going to lock people up for giving an address to a policeman. We need to know what these are your public servants. You need to know who they are and where they are.
All I'm saying is what I've heard. I'm not saying I agree with it at all.
Yeah, I mean, they put that stuff all the time. They can make, they can call a criminal act anything. Right now, parking on WL line is a criminal act.
If a police officer in London at the moment is actually covered by the Anti-Terrorist Act, they can only give them, they'll only want to give this number out. They cannot give a first name, a surname or anything. So when you're actually dealing with that officer at that point in time, anybody else is not allowed to know who they are. It's just a number.
Well, that's the point.
Once you've gone into the administration, that number has to be identified. That's when you've got to start starting your letters, telling them what's gone wrong.
Yeah.
But identification is that nobody wants to know where this person lives because they're protected by the Anti-Terrorist Act.
Well, the acts are there. Okay, the acts are there to allow commerce. Okay. There's the law of the land and the law of the sea, right? This put it very clearly. The law of the land is called the common law of the land. So that if that's the world, you have one land there, one land there, one land there, one land there. Every land has got different laws, okay? The law of the sea is the same because it's one sea everywhere. Everywhere you go. That's why it's one law, it's UCC. That's it. So the acts of parliament are law of the seas. So the law of the sea, you live in the sea. Does this law apply to you? No. Maritime law, admiralty. So what the hell are we acting with these people for? Let them know there's no proof that that act applies to a living man. That's it. So you can keep your harassment acts or whatever it is they're trying to bring to you, just let them know that. If they have any proof that an act applies to a man, then you carry on. But that's the end of the act as far as I'm concerned. It requires my consent. And guess what? I don't consent to that act. So you can shove it.
About terrorism is actually placing themselves above any law.
Of course.
That's what they've done.
That's what they've done. The government is above any law. You try to find any information on these people. I'm saying I've done this for a few years now. These guys, they pretend that they're above the law. Everyone's equal under the law. But right now today, the court managers people, chief court managers people, the court manager, try and find out who the court manager is in your local court and see what happens. They won't even give the name of the local court manager.
They won't give the names out.
Of anyone. So who are they?
I've actually managed to get hold of the court manager's names. Of course, they've been refusing that. Once you find it, it's usually by hearsay, and they have to identify themselves, but they will not give out your name.
That's the whole point.
Actually, there are people, as you've been to realise, that actually who are working within the system. Actually, if they're working for the court or C4 or anybody else, eventually, unfortunately, the easiest way to get is to find that person's name.
Yeah.
So Louise Bull is the one who actually has got her name above all these courts. But we don't get to see her. The action would actually be against Louise, but in fact the very first person standing in front of you is who we're actually trying to identify.
Wow.
And they're the ones that are not going to give you names. If you can't find the person standing in front of you, I'm not giving you my name.
Exactly. How can you do that?
You'll have to use with that name and identifying the person who's then done your harm.
Yeah.
So even the court manager, if they're not acting correctly, you have to use their name.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the point. The point is this, that people are claiming to be public servants, right? Now, because everything has been sold, there's nothing public anymore. They're hiding now. How is it possible that the court manager of the local court refuses to give the name?
Well, if they were public servants, sure you could discharge the charges.
Of course,
To
of course.
actual person.
Yeah. So the point, that's the whole thing. Do not allow yourself to be deceived by people. If somebody is unwilling to identify who they are, please do not do any business with them. That's all I can say. If I came to you and said, listen, give me some money, and you ask me what my name is, and I'm not willing to even tell you my name, and you give some money, then yeah, there's an issue there. But that's the whole point. There's no more public, there's no public servants, everyone's private, so when you're dealing with people on the private side, remember the three things: valid cause, crime, charge. And if they give you an order, you know what to do. If you order me to do something, I'm going to invoice you, and that's my services, okay? So that's all I have to say for today. Hopefully, I hope this information is useful, and we'll see you next time when we bring some more, okay?